the water pills. You have a willing power that you can do it, you will do it.
This trek takes us from the village of Lukla, which is at a modest height of 2,860 metres, on a 10-day walk to the base camp of Mount Everest at an elevation of 5,400 metres. Lukla. For many people, it's an exciting start to the journey. This flight takes in fall. Tourists, you can see army and rescue helicopters at the airport. There are many restaurants in Lukla, so you can have a meal before you begin the first day's trekking. A typical menu is soup, pizza, momos, breakfast cereals, hot and cold drinks, and most junk foods you can get at home. People usually try to avoid eating meat. The possibility of a sick stomach is very high. The journey from Lukla to Pass going at a river, which provides a lovely view for most of today's walking. There is a well-worn path with steps leading you both upwards and down, but by the time you reach Pakding, you will be almost 200 metres lower than you were at Lukla. There is a large amount of accommodation available at Pakding. The restaurant, toilets are shared. Today's trekking will take somewhere between 5 and 6 hours depending on your fitness level. The journey from Pakding, the Dukosi River valley below, above and by rhododendron forests. There are several small villages along the way to stop for some food or drinks, like this one in Monjo National Park. To enter you have to buy a ticket and fill a form. You will need to show your passport here and provide a passport-sized photograph. Several times on the Dukosi River. Local decorations with prayer flags, although there is no need for prayers, as the bridges are all made of steel and feel very secure. On the far side of this bridge is the village known as Jorsel. There are no shops to cross, and after this the trek gets surprisingly difficult. The walk to Namche is very steep and continually upwards. There is no level or downward walking. This section of the walk may take 2 or more hours. People of average fitness may find that they can walk for several minutes only, and then need to take a short break to catch their breath. At this altitude, your body will especially notice if you attempt things like running up a stairs or exert your body in any way. As you reach Namche, you have the entrance to the Sagarmatha National Park. Namche Bazaar is the most important day is to climb high during the day and then sleep lower. This will help your body adjust to the altitude more easily. The most common walk to take on the rest day is to the Everest View Hotel. From here on a clear day there are spectacular views of Everest. This walk should only take around 2 hours. There are new imitation climbing gear. There is a big Almost anything you might need for the trek ahead can be bought on the streets of Namche Bazaar. Items like down jackets, sleeping bags, shoes, socks, gloves, scarves, suntan cream, lip balm, tissue paper, maps and water. Internet. The internet cafes connect via satellites, and so the resulting connection speed is slow. The village also contains a German bakery, well known in the region for providing good quality Western food, including pizza. The walk from Namche to Tenboche should take between 5 and 7 hours. It begins with a very steep and tiring walk up out of the village. There is a large amount of construction taking place in Namche, with many new lodges being built. The sound of stone being cut. The atmosphere has changed so quickly. Tenboche Monastery can be used as this old bridge to cross the river. But the altitude that was lost must now be gained with a tough 2-hour uphill walk. Most people will stop here and have their lunch before. The price of a bottle of soft drinks here might be 50% higher than it was in Lukla, although meals like rice, soup and bread will be mostly the same. The lack of only the Sherpas seem to be able to scale this steep pace. Everyone else is choosing to take it slow. In the village is an important Buddhist monastery. All the traffic heading towards Everest passes through the centre of Tengboche, so it's a great place to relax and watch all the yaks, porters and trekkers go about their business. There is a large green area in the centre of the village for camping. There is a bakery in the centre of the village which claims to be the highest in the world, and at nearly 4,000 metres it's easy to believe, sitting directly around it. Most people will eat their food by 7 p.m. and go to bed. The walk from Tengboche to Dingboche starts off gently sloping downhill, but shortly after crossing the river we head uphill and spend most of the family-run tea houses to stop in along the way, serving up tasty drinks like hot lemon or yak milk tea. Overall it is an easy but long day's trekking, with the journey taking up to 6 hours. At this altitude many people will suffer mild headaches and shortness of breath. 530 metres. Trekkers will usually spend 2 nights in Dingboche for acclimatisation purposes. The village relies heavily on tourists, with lodges and tenting areas comprising most of Dingboche. The Imjar River flows directly east of the village. Most people choose to spend the rest day hanging around the village. There is a bar here with a pool table. Expensive internet cafe and satellite phones are available at a high price if you feel like phoning home. The day starts off with a steep climb up the edge of a hill, providing ahead. Today's walk would take up to 6 hours or more, depending on how as you walk. For minor ailments, there is a fixed charge. This should be able to treat the locals for free. Most of the walking today is along relatively level ground. There are few signs of civilization along this route, so if you need to refresh with a drink or some food, do so at the nearest available shop. Until you reach the small village of Lobouche. Compared to places like Dingboche or Tengboche, there is not really much here. 2 or 3 lodges and a camping area make up Lobouche. The village is quite exposed. Through this village can vary greatly, and it is common for there to be no accommodation available. Guests may be asked to share a room with a stranger or even sleep on the dining room floor. There is no way around this, as the nearest lodge is many hours' walk away. Sound like much, but at this altitude it may take anywhere up to 5 or even 6 hours. There is no clear path and you have to walk over loose rocks, which add to the difficulty. The small village of Gorak Shep is actually the original base camp for climbers heading towards the summit of Everest. The small village is located at the base of a peak called Kalapathar, which appears as a big brown bump below the impressive south. Many trekkers in the region of Mount Everest to summit the structure of Everest. The peak cannot be seen from base camp. There are several crashed helicopters in the base camp region. Because the air is so thin at this altitude, landing and taking off can be difficult. The journey takes us over the Khumbu Glacier, finally ending at the base of the Khumbu Icefall. You can say you are at base camp when you are looking up the Khumbu Icefall. The icefall is regarded as one of the most dangerous stages of the South Col route to Everest summit. Depending on what time of year it is, you may see the tents of support crews for climbers attempting to summit Everest. The months
biggest World Heritage